everybody. It's October 19th, day 74. We're at the week. This is the first day of week number 9. I just went out for a Sunday walk, and I just stumbled. Normally, I walk around the block, and I just delivered some wedding invitations to some friends. 2 friends. One my former Thai teacher, and a former colleague in 2 different apartments that live by me. I stopped by and gave them their wedding invitations. I just came up here to this main bridge, and they're having some type of dance off here. Very interesting how they can. It's neat how they do this. They pull this together in public. But some of it looks pretty official, and some of it looks kind of ad hoc. But anyway, it's the beginning of week 9. I'm in the single digits of weeks remaining left in the year. It's really exciting, and that means actually 9 weeks. That means five and a half weeks left of working. So a week and a half left in December, 2 weeks, and then the last 3.5 weeks in November. But this weekend was pretty casual. Staying at home. My wife's at church. I stayed home so I could do some personal work, but it looks like some of these guys, they really get into it. Kind of comical. I'm not sure if I was younger would I be interested in doing something like this. You wouldn't have seen too many guys doing this kind of thing, at least where I'm from, at least in my age. Or at least in the 1980s. But they're having fun. It looks like we've got some cheerleaders over there. I'm gonna go finish my walk and then go home, and then get ready for the week. It's Halloween, and this is the crap that they're putting up all around the city. It's pretty disgusting if you look. I mean, it's animal sacrifices and some guy bound and tied basically for a sacrifice. Wow. Really impressive that this is what people are drawn to. Thailand is also most of their movies are very satanic, have a lot to do with witchcraft and spirits. But interesting. So I'm doing a long walk today. It's October 21st, and not very busy. I finished my donor reports yesterday, and now I'm preparing some presentations for and the board. We have big meetings next week for 2 weeks with the board and other key people, and I am preparing for those. There's not a lot going on this week. Doc goes to Laos and train, and so I'm going to be here all weekend alone. That's going to be weird. I haven't been without her in a long time, and we're always together. Sometimes, most of the time, when I'm not working. But I'll probably work from home. I want to stay home for the next couple days. Thursday's the holiday, and then Friday, basically a long weekend. There's not really much to do with work. It's going pretty easy at the office. Not much interaction. My one colleague, she's leaving next week. She's really excited. And I've never seen so many people excited to leave an organization. Really, it's really impressive. She's counting the days. She's basically skipping through the halls and in my office several times a day to talk about how disgruntled she is. But here we have this. I'm walking into this other park. You can see they must have beer. It's a beer garden. They must have set this up over the weekend or in the evenings with bands and beer. So they call them beer gardens here. I used to go to them when I was in Laos a lot, but I don't drink anymore, and we don't go out. So yeah, not a lot going on this week, which is nice. In 2 weeks, it's going to be very busy. And then, this is week, I have 5.5 weeks left to work. This is the 9th week of and before I lose my job until the end of the year. And I'm very excited for that. Day 72. I think it's day 72. So, take care, everybody. God bless, and I'll catch up with you when I have other news. Oh yeah, the stock market is hitting all-time highs again. Predictions are it's going to hit all-time highs, and S&P 500 will hit 7,000 by the end of the year. That's another 6% up. My portfolio is a little more beta, so that is 6% on the S&P. That probably means between 7 and 9% on my own portfolio. I'll take it. 22nd, day 71. We just finished another pre-marriage, what do you call it? Class at the church. And we were practicing saying our vows. What did you think of that?
Good idea.
Did you enjoy that?
Yes, I enjoyed.
So we practiced saying the vows, and then we had to talk about the vows, which vow was most important to us. And of course, she focuses on the being sick and dying. If she's sick, will I still love her? And that type of thing. And I'm more focused on the money. If I'm poor, will she still love me and still leave me? I mean, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about either one of those concerns. But I mean, if you think it's funny how you see our different perspectives of this. Don't run you over here. You have to be careful walking in the Bangkok streets. The guys in the motorbike are crazy. They will run you over. We're passing a new massage parlor right down the road from us. But yeah, you got to be really careful walking in the streets here. People will run you over. You have no rights. But that was fun. We have another one next week talking about the 5 languages of love. Everybody, today is October 24th, and we're nearing the end. One more day left in week 9. 9 weeks left in the year, and 9 weeks left until I'm officially on early retirement. And technically, maybe that's technically, but conceptually, maybe that's the word I'm looking for. I don't know words. But conceptually, I only have 4.5 weeks left of work because December is basically all leave. So this is Choice of Winding Down Chronicles. I'm kind of off my rhythm here. I'm not sure why today, but it's a Friday morning. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Very nice sunny day here. I wanted to get some sun. I missed the sun yesterday. We had a holiday yesterday, and I spent the day pretty much most of it with my wife because she went on the train last night to Laos to go visit her family for the weekend. A couple friends, or a friend's son is getting married, a close friend of hers, and her nephew's birthday, and I don't know why she missed some of these things before. I'm not sure why she needed to go this time. Maybe I think it helps her break up the time because we usually go together. But she took the train. She feels safer on the train. Me, I'd rather not take the train if I don't have to. I might do it next year. We did it this year, and I didn't like it. Only because I didn't sleep. The bed was comfortable as it can get. It was on time. There wasn't any problems. But you go onto the train expecting to sleep because there's no internet. There's nothing almost 90% of the way. But she doesn't like flying if she doesn't have to. So she took the train. She liked it. It helps her spend the time. She looks pass the time more than me. I'm trying to make time efficient, and maybe that will change when I'm not working anymore. So normally I would be doing this end of week summary, a summary of the week on a Saturday, but I've been doing them on Fridays because Saturday I will do the editing, or not editing, but a little bit of cutting out, and yeah, I guess it's a little bit of editing. What am I saying? But I just wanted to give a quick summary today. It's a little early. Still have things that could happen later in the week, or today or tomorrow. But I'm spending the weekend alone here. First time. I think this is probably only the first time, other than when I went back to the States, that we've not been together. I missed her. I missed her. I missed her just thinking about her leaving, and I just love being around her. Speaking of, we had a marriage course, one of the sessions on Wednesday, and we were saying the vows with the pastor, and he revised. I've been memorizing the vows, and because we're doing it in Thai, I've been memorizing the vows so that I can repeat them. But he gave us new vows because these are modified vows for people who are already married. So the vows we've been saying are for people who aren't married, but we've been married for 2 years and we've been together for 10. So they're modified versions, and I like them a lot more. It makes sense. But so we were going through the vows and talking about them, discussing which ones are more important to us, and I talked a little bit about that on an earlier clip. But she really loves talking about these things. I tried to initiate conversations like that, but I think she likes to have a facilitator, and some of the she can express herself better in Lao and Thai, of course. So the pastor's been able to help with some of that. She can say some things that in Thai that she can't say in English, and then he'll translate. That is a bit of a barrier, but that is the reason why I'm learning Lao. So we don't have that barrier anymore. And my Thai is not good enough to be able to express myself to that extent. I can do basic things, or I can get around, I can live here. Basic, but I couldn't have deep conversations, and I want to have that with my wife, in her language. Even though her English is much better than my Lao. Well, it should be. That's primarily what we communicate in. But so that was the vows, and then next week we'll be talking about the 5 languages of love. I already know what hers is. She's almost all of them. Servant, service, doing things for people, and always expressing love. Always. It's not a very Lao thing, especially her growing up in rural Lao. They're not very emotional to each other. So she grew up that way, but she's very open, very loving, extremely loving. And she has a servant heart, so she loves to serve. She loves the cooking is important for her, and taking care of someone, and telling you. I'm more, I think more expression. I'll say it, and then I will gifts. I'll do things for her, things like that. Kind of the more things that cost money. But I could tell the pastor is very excited for us. He's Thai, and I think we're his first wedding in like 2 years. So they have weddings all the time in English, but people rent the church out for that. And we're the first couple, and he said more than 2 years that they had him actually do the service in Thai. The whole service is going to be in Thai. We'll televise it. And I can tell he's very excited for us. He loves her. Everybody loves her. But I think he's come to be very very fond of us, listening to us, our conversations, and talk. And he can tell we love each other. And it's really been it's a neat experience, and I'm glad we did this course. You know, it's probably going to end up being about 8 to 10 times. We go there for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. We watch video, then we have discussion, we answer questions. It's just to facilitate, you know, it's to go where sometimes couples don't go. Finances was a big one. The biggest reasons couples separate are religion and money and family. You know, do they want family or not? You know, and it makes sense. But we've not had any of those issues. I love her family, she loves mine. We get along, and the biggest worry for me is, you know, running out of money, you know, so I don't have $1 million and I've got to make a budget work, and I've got to manage that because she doesn't know how to do that. And plus I've got to help with things with her family as they come up, because they don't have money either. It's just one of those downsides to marrying abroad, and especially if you marry family that doesn't have their own money. So so that was already the wedding course. There's no real wedding updates. We didn't do anything this week that was significant, except the studio did send us some photos. They've already put together at least, what do they call them? They're editing them to make them, you know, finishing them up. And they're very nice pictures. I think we're gonna be very happy about that. So we picked those up a week before the wedding, and then we'll pick up her dress. Her dress will get fitted. So just some quick updates. 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. That's what I'm reading. Or no, I finished. Now I'm in 1st Timothy. I wouldn't say anything's popped out of that. It's just talking about behavior, and right now I'm reading about what kind of personalities should be, and not personalities, but characteristics you need to work for the church. If you wanted to work in a church, I don't know what I'm going to do when I go back to Laos. If I don't have a job, I might become more involved in that way. That will get me deeper into the community and hopefully learn Lao better, faster, and make friends, you know, make closer friends. And speaking of Lao and learning Lao, so I had to change my teacher, because the teacher I was using, she changed her hours. She's doing something, and now she can only teach in the evenings, and I don't want to do my Lao lessons in the evening. I'm too tired. Even pushing 1 hour online is already a problem. So I changed to another teacher, and first lesson was great. Had that yesterday on my day off. She was very nice, and I ended up buying a package because you get like 17% off. She's dirt cheap. She's half the price of the other one normally, so I'm paying $8 an hour. The other one was $15. But this one is $8 an hour, and then if you buy a package of 10, she gives you 17% off. So that comes down to $6.80 some cents per lesson for an hour. Oh my gosh, you can't beat that. And she was good. She was bubbly. She was our conversation. She said I'm speaking Lao very well. I said, I think you all say that. But actually, I did pretty well. I was pretty happy with the way I was expressing myself, and understanding majority of what she said, and questions, and it's basic conversations. And then she's in Luang Prabang, and the conversation she had, we were talking about, she was asking me what do I do, and then I said we go to church. And, oh, you're a Christian, she said. And then she pulls down her collar of her shirt and pulls out her necklace. She's a Christian too. I'm amazed, I'm amazed with how many Lao. Christianity is becoming very popular, and I see that the church that we went to, in Protestant church in Benchen, is huge. It's like over 500 people, and they're there all day. And I don't know what they do all week, if they still have, but there's other churches around there, the church that I go to here in Bangkok, they have a church, a couple churches in Laos, but they're much smaller, and they're more, they're much smaller. But I do want to go visit the one that they recommended, and the pastor that they know, that is part of their system. But I'm really surprised. It wasn't even just, I think 15-20 years ago, religion was oppressed. I mean, the country was very oppressed. It was extreme communism up until, I think, the after the 2000s. I don't know the history that well, but that was very oppressed, and it still is, but they're much more open these days. So you have these churches, and internet is much more available than it used to be, and you see a lot more Western type of ideas, and what I would say is debauchery coming in. It's always the bad stuff that influences. It seems like all the narcissism, and because Laos was very communal, communist, communal. People are becoming more narcissistic. You can see it in the way they're behaving, the way they're dressing, and they're losing their culture. And I think it's one of the disadvantages to opening up. But there's a lot they need to, though, because the economy is so bad. They don't really produce anything, and I think they export a little bit of rice, but they don't do much more than that. I think almost everything is so much, except for produce. Even some produce is imported, fruit and stuff from Thailand. They just don't have the infrastructure and it's only like 7 to 8 million people. So it's one of the smallest countries in the world, physically and population-wise. I love the country, and the interacting with the people is very nice. So a couple weeks ago, I paid to have a leather lounge chair made. This is kind of silly, but I was kind of regretting that this week. I don't know. I was kind of regretting it. It was 27,000 baht. I'm going to take it back. It's an electric lounge chair. I was just imagining this is going to be where I'm going to do my study, my reading, relaxation, meditation. And, I just was looking at a study, and I really debated on getting one half the price, which was still comfortable, but not near as nice. I'm getting the full grain leather, so I paid a little bit more. And I was kind of regretting it this week. One of the things that prompted that was, we don't have a lot of room. We don't have a lot of room in our house. We want to build another room that's going to be my office. But this is a big chair, and if it's a lounge chair, you need space for it to open up. And then the other thing is, they talk about how when you get older and retired, you can lose purpose and you can become lazy. And a lot of people, and sitting is the new smoking, they say. But so I kind of was regretting that this week. I'm like, did I really need such a nice chair? The cost wasn't that much, compared to what I'm getting, but do I need the temptation to just sit? And I think it's just gonna take my discipline, my self-discipline. I'm pretty good with it. It's gonna take my self-discipline to not veg, So when I do want to veg, it's there and it's very comfortable. And this is how I'm working it through my mind. I'm just gonna have to be disciplined with it. I can't let it overtake my life. It's there as a nice little luxury to enjoy. It was a present to myself for the retirement, but I need to make sure that it doesn't overtake me, because my dad ended up becoming what my dad did. He retired, and except for doing a little bit around the house, he would sit and watch TV in his big, huge sofa chair. And it wasn't a nice one like the one I'm getting. Yeah, it was very comfortable. It was very comfortable. But he ended up basically dying in that. I mean, and today, ironically, I'm talking about that. He died 2 years ago. Today's my mother's birthday. She also died 2 years ago. She died 2 years ago, 2 weeks before her 80th birthday, she was killed in a car crash by a drunk driver who's still running free. He has not been tried yet, and that's coming up though. And I hope to be home for the trial, if there is a trial, or the sentencing. I hope that's in the new year. But so 2 weeks ago, 2 years ago, my mother was killed, and then 2 weeks later, my bedridden dad died on her birthday today, 2 years ago. So he wasn't an easy man. I won't go down that rabbit hole. Maybe one day I'll do an ode to my father, but there's a lot of difficult emotions to work through there. But I think time is passing, and I still loved him. Somehow I still loved him. Somehow I still managed to love him. And it was only really this week when I thought about it. I'm like, I'm starting to miss him. I didn't miss him before because of all the hurt. But I'm starting now. I'm feeling like I loved him, and I'm gonna love him for what the good things, you know. And I'll have to sort through that. I don't want to go through that on this particular video, but just to honor my father today. I miss him, and happy birthday, Mom. I'll see you in heaven one day. So it is kind of a emotional, sentimental day as well. But before I go on a little further, so I was talking about the chair. Oh my gosh. So I was talking about the lounge chair. Yeah. So I'm happy about the lounge chair. I just need to discipline myself. I don't want to end up like my dad, especially since I'm going to be retiring at 56. I'll be 56 next week, and my birthday's coming up. I'll be 56. It's what I envisioned 5 years ago about retiring, and I can't believe it's actually happening. I want to retire young. I don't want to end up like my parents. My mom was okay. They worked late. They worked until up to 70, until they were 70. But my dad just when he retired, he lost his purpose. You know, that's what he did, and he just became basically an object breathing air. But still the same miserable person. I just don't want to end up like that. But it's there for me when I want it, and then I'm just going to discipline myself to not use it. And I hope the leather withstands the weather. Dad just arrived at home, and she told me it's cool, surprisingly. And actually today is pretty cool too. The pool is very icy cold. And I think it's probably from the rain, but it is getting cooler now. A little bit. It's much more comfortable if you want to visit Laos. So the other thing I was thinking this too is, in my mind, I've been looking at. I'm building my office in my mind. So I want to take back a standing desk, and I want to get some different things that will make my work experience, my office, comfortable. I don't want to overdo it, but I do want to set my. We don't have the resources in Laos to buy everything I want to get. So I'm looking for the things I want to buy here and then ship them home. I spend a lot of time in my office, at my desk. So it's going to be reading and working computer, personal stuff, writing a book, learning Excel, and maybe doing some part-time work if I can, if there isn't any consulting and just keeping my mind sharp. And I like to work at my desk. I do a lot of work there, and so I'm imagining what I'm going to need, and then next month when I get into that right credit card cycle and closer to when I will get my final paycheck, I will make the purchases and then have them here to send back to Laos. So yeah, look, this is my. I know most of you, this is probably not very interesting, but this is my vlog, my wind down to retirement, and these are what's important to me now. And I think one day I'm going to look back on this and enjoy watching what was important for me at the time. Speaking of So this month, the end of this month, also marks 6 months since I started this channel, and I'm going to do a quick update, quick individual chronicle of my thoughts and the processes I went through for the 6 months to date. It's not impressive statistics, at least as far as YouTube is concerned, but it's been a very cathartic process. I've learned a lot, and I've become more comfortable talking to a phone as if I'm talking to someone. I don't have many people to talk to, so if you find anything interesting, please comment. It's one of the things that I'm starting to see a little more views. I have 9 subscribers. Thank you to my 9 subscribers. That's funny. But I've seen, I'm not looking to become a big YouTuber. And this is the chapter in this chronicle, this is my chapter of the YouTube channel for now. My chapter is to wind down into an early retirement, use this as a place to talk about ideas and things that are important, and then to look back on maybe one day and just to see what was going, my personal development, my personal thoughts. Not much to say about work. It's been pretty easy today. I think hopefully today we're going to be finishing up a very important item that was protracted for a long time. I won't talk about that in detail. That's another rabbit hole. But this week so I'm back to the desk and the chair. So I'm planning in my mind what I'm going to purchase. I'm actually writing it down, the things I'm going to purchase, so that I can have ready to take back to Laos. And hopefully one thing I don't want to do is overdo it. I don't want to buy all this stuff and then get to Laos and have everything set up and like, I didn't need that. I didn't need that. So, maybe it's better just to get some of the basics and then come back to Bangkok when I want to, stick something in a suitcase if I can't find it in Laos. It's just the standing desk I can't find in Laos. I don't know where to get one, and I really want that. And then the lounge sofa, and then some accessories. So I'll just quick end on the financial news this week. So the market is kangaroo market. This week at one day it was like almost 2%. My total portfolio down 2%. It's crazy when you look at just 2%. That 1.5% to 2% down. That's like 4 months of salary. My portfolio is not huge. I'm not retiring on millions. I don't have $1 million. But that just to show what a 1.5. It's enough that I hope will last me as long as I don't lose everything in the market, and will continue to grow. But just 1.5% change dip. I lose on paper, 3 to 4 months worth of salary, and then the last 2 days it came back. So it's up, down, Yes, one day. Anyway, it's really crazy, and I do expect it to continue. This is earnings season for the markets, so things are moving there. And you have Trump tariffs, and then the big news this week was Amazon AWS went down, and half the internet lost its services. That's crazy, when you think one little glitch. It was one little bug that didn't work, an update. One little minor update took down everything on the internet, or took down 50% of the internet, because 50% of the internet is using AWS web services, Amazon Web Services. So not really good for web services, but it's it's the same like last year when we had the CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike had a bug glitch, took down all the airlines. Everything stopped. I think some people got hurt. You know, planes went down or something. I don't remember exactly what. But the whole globe stopped because everyone uses CrowdStrike for their internet cybersecurity. One little glitch in an update. So yeah, really scary. You know, you never know where you're going to be when something like that happens and how it's going to impact you, especially if you're traveling. You know, if you're at home, you know, you can withstand it. But if you're traveling or you're somewhere where it's not very safe, where you need quick get out, or you're in an urgent situation and you can't do something, oh man, that's the stuff people don't think about. What kind of impact that would be on the person, and that's what happened with CrowdStrike last year. You know, people were stranded in airports and delays and blah 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 blah. So anyway, kangaroo market, my finances. You know, I'm again. This is why I said I'm not. I hope to God what I have lasts. I pray to God that it does, and I think that my retirement, early retirement or forced early retirement is God ordained, and I just pray that He's going to work this out. Hey everybody, it's October 25th, day 68, 68 days remaining left in the year. This is the last day of week 9. I just wanted to quick do a financial update from yesterday. I wasn't going to, but the market is just crazy. The all-time highs. My portfolio is all-time highs. My portfolio was up 1.8% yesterday. I think the S&P 500 was about 1.4. I have a lot more data. I just can't believe it. And I think it has to do with the inflation data that came out this Thursday or Friday. Came in lower than expected. So at 3% inflation, which is great for the economy and great for the markets. You know, markets love low inflation rates. So that almost guarantees that the Federal Reserve will reduce interest rates and make money more available. The downside is the dollar continues to devalue, but I'm paid in Thai baht, so that's helpful for me if I ever go back to the States or want to convert and send money back. But anyway, I just want to end on that note. Just really crazy that's what's happening. But yeah, great. It's great news for me. I think the market's still going to go higher to the end of the year. Someone predicts 7,000, which is probably another 5 or 6%. And now I just need to preserve my capital, preserve my investments going into the new year. So yeah, it's a good way to end the week. All right, everybody, take care. God bless. Take it slow.